Hi Alfie, this is Auntie Debbie. What I thought I would do whilst we're at home at the moment is read you some stories via video. So today I'm going to read you a story from an Enid Blyton book that I've got that's over 40 years old, and it's called Chimney Corner Stories. The one I'm going to read to you is called The 6 Little Motor Cars. Henry had 6 little motor cars, all different. One was a car, one was a lorry, one was a milk van, one was a bus, one was a racer, and the last one was a butcher's van. They were very old, quite 4 years old, but they all had their wheels and they all ran well along the nursery floor. It was only their paint that had gone. The car had once been blue and the lorry had been brown. The milk van had been bright yellow and the bus was red. The racer had been green and the butcher's van a brilliant orange. Now, all the little cars were grey, without a single bit of their bright colours left. But Henry still played with them and loved them. He got them out every week and ran them over the floor, hooting loudly as if there were 6 cars. He put them away carefully and didn't tread on them at all. "How you do love your little cars, Henry," said his mother. "They are getting very old, but you must keep them carefully, because I haven't any money to buy you nice little cars like that again for a long time." Now, one day, Thomas and his mother came to tea. He was younger than Henry and he loved cars even more than Henry did. He had one of his own, quite a big one, but he had no little ones at all. So, when he saw Henry's cars in the toy cupboard, he gave a squeal of delight. "Oh, look at those cars! Can we play with them?" It was nice to have someone else playing at cars, hooting and running them forward and back. The 2 boys built streets with their bricks and put up posts for traffic lights. It was really great fun. And then, when Thomas had to go home, he wanted to take the cars with him. His mother shook her head and said no, he couldn't. "They belong to Henry," she said. "You've played with them all afternoon, now you must leave them." Thomas began to scream. Henry looked at him in disgust. "Fancy a boy behaving like that. Why, only babies yelled." "Oh dear," said Thomas's mother. "Don't scream, Thomas. You know, Mrs. Hill has been very unwell and I've had to give him his own way a lot. The doctor said it's very bad for him to scream. Now do be sensible, Thomas." But Thomas was not going to be sensible. He screamed until he was purple in the face. "Henry," said Henry's mother, "will you lend Thomas your cars just for tonight? You can have them back again tomorrow." Thomas stopped screaming to hear what Henry would say. "No," said Henry firmly. "I've never lent my cars to anyone. They're too precious." "Henry, be unselfish," said his mother. "Do it to please me. Poor Thomas is so unhappy." Henry looked at his mother. "Well, Mummy, I'll lend them because I want to please you, not because Thomas is unhappy. I think he's naughty and I don't want him to come to tea again." Thomas stopped screaming. He looked rather ashamed, but he let his mother put the 6 cars into his pockets. Henry was sad. He felt sure they would come back broken with some of the wheels missing. He was sad all that evening. His mother was sorry. "Henry, I'm glad to have such a kind little boy," she said when she put him to bed. "You make me very happy." Well, Henry was glad about that, but he hadn't made himself happy at all. He thought about his precious cars a great deal and wondered if Thomas was taking care of them. Next morning, Thomas arrived at the front door with his father this time, not his mother. In his hand, he carried a big box. Henry wondered if all his cars were in it. Thomas came upstairs with his father and the box. "Now, Thomas, what have you got to say to Henry?" said his father. "Henry, here are your cars," said Thomas, talking as if he were very ashamed of himself. "I'm sorry I screamed for them. Daddy was very angry when he knew." "It's all right," said Henry, taking the box. He didn't like to open it in case he found some of the cars were broken. "Do open the box," said Thomas. So Henry did open it, and how he stared! Every single one of those little cars had been given a fresh coat of bright paint. They were in the box, red, orange, blue, green, brown and yellow. They looked marvellous. I did that in return for your kindness, said Thomas's father, and you will find a nice traffic light indicator there too. Thomas took money from his money box and bought it. He's rather ashamed of himself, you see. I'm not surprised you don't want him to come to tea again with you. Oh, but I do, cried Henry, quite changing his mind. I do. We had a lovely time yesterday with the cars. Oh, and aren't they fine now? As good as new. Better. And look at this lovely traffic light. You can really change the colours. Thomas came to tea with Henry the next week, and the two of them played the whole afternoon with the cars, streets made of bricks, and the traffic light. And when it was time for Thomas to go home, did he yell and scream for the cars? Not he. He went home with his mother, sad to leave the cars, but making up his mind never to behave like a baby again. Henry's mother watched him putting away the little cars. It's a funny thing, Henry, she said, but whenever anyone does something to please somebody else, it always comes back to them. You pleased me, and now Thomas and his father have pleased you. I didn't reward you, but they did. It's a pity everyone doesn't know that, isn't it? Kindness always comes back somehow. And that's the end of today's story. I hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon. Love you.